All right, making the move towards 2020, Joe Biden, the former vice president, telling supporters that he plans to run for president. This from a new report in the Wall Street Journal. As it comes as one of the Democratic candidates is pledging bipartisanship, of all things. But is it really possible to overcome politics as usual? We have that very candidate with us today, John Delaney, and he joins us here in the studio. Went from business to, to the Congress, and now you're running for president. In fact, you've been running for president longer than anyone else.
I have. I was the first in, yeah.
Now, your brand is this idea of bipartisanship, and we've talked about this a lot on our show, that even the centrist candidates, so-called centrists, we'll see if Joe Biden gets in. Most people expect him to. Mike Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York, decided not to, apparently because he didn't think that could win a primary. So how do you win if you want to get along with everybody?
Well, my brand is really solving problems. You know, bipartisanship is kind of a means to an end. If you want to actually get things done in this country, you have to find common ground. Right? If you want to do things that affect people's lives, solve problems, you got to find common ground. If you want to work on building a better future, you got to find common ground.
Let me talk about some of those issues.
Sure.
Here we're focusing on policies, but particularly economic policies, how it affects markets, but also kitchen table issues. And taxes would obviously be one. So it's been a big talk already in the primaries. How high of a marginal tax rate would you be willing to go? What would you support? I've seen you say that, say, 70% is too high, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would roll back the cuts that were done in the last tax reform or tax cut bill that passed, right?
Go back to where we were.
Go back to where we were. And where I think we actually need to focus is on the capital gains rate versus the ordinary income rate. I think that's a huge loophole, and there's a lot of leakage.
All right, so what would you do there specifically?
I would basically close the loop. I would do the Buffett rule.
Okay.
Right? I think it's ridiculous that people who invest for a living are in many ways paying half of what workers do in terms of their tax rate. It's an outdated concept. We put it in place at a time when we needed people to invest. As you know, because you sit here and cover it every day, markets are super liquid. Everyone invests. We don't need that disparity.
What about the corporate rate, down to 21 now?
I would move it up to 27, 28.
Okay, so you'd get some...
35 was too high. The business community wanted 25. It was cut to 21. No one even asked for 21.
Yeah.
I would put it at kind of 27 or 28.
Okay, what about trade? We had the president talking a little bit about it today, but he's been... a little outside the box compared to, no, not a little, a lot, compared to a traditional Republican candidate. That had been the party of free trade.
Right.
Are you a free trader? You're a business
guy? supported the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I thought it was a huge mistake that didn't get done under President Obama, and I thought the president made a big mistake tearing it up.
You think the Democratic Party in the future is the party of free trade? Will that flip?
Well, I think it's moving, right? I think... I think my Democratic colleagues made a huge mistake not supporting President Obama on the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I was one of the few Democrats to support it.
Okay.
I thought it was good economic policy. It was very good geopolitical policy. I think Democrats are moving. I think they see the president as a nationalist, and this notion of engaging around the world economically, diplomatically, et cetera, I think is key to our success from a foreign policy perspective.
One more on economics then, spending. I'll ask it in the simple, broadest terms I know. Do deficits matter still?
Yes.
Period. This MMT...
that doesn't work.
It's nonsense.
What we need is deficits equal to 2%, right, of the economy. Because
give me how do you cut to get there then?
You got to fix healthcare.
Okay.
Right. Healthcare is the main driver of really our spending issues over time. We have to have a form of universal healthcare system.
How do you do that without spending a crazy amount of money, as we've heard of?
Well, my plan creates universal healthcare. Right. Everyone gets it as a right, but you have options. You can get supplementals. You can get private insurance if you want. And you pay for that by getting rid of the corporate deductibility of health care.
Let me ask you one, this is a little bit off the beaten track, one political question before I let you go. You're from Maryland, right?
Yes.
I read that before you decided to run for president, there was some talk, maybe he'll run for governor after leaving the Congress. Larry Hogan's the governor of Maryland, right? There's been some talk that he might actually run against President Trump on the Republican side in a primary. What would that look like? What kind of opponent would he be for the president? You know him.
Yeah, I do know him. I mean, listen, I think anyone who wants to run for president should. If Governor Hogan wants to run for president, he should. I think it would be great to have a primary challenge to the president.
Sometimes that helps in terms of fighting an incumbent, is the point.
Well, listen, I think the president is not doing a great job as president, so I think having a debate on the Republican side would be good.
Interesting conversation. I didn't ask you the most obvious thing. Before we let you go, you do have to answer this. Are you going to be in these debates? Are you going to meet the qualifications?
We're planning on it.
So it's a steep hurdle, right? You got
to again, we're planning on it.
All right. John Delaney, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Okay.